Yeah, I was always going to watch this. Apology to say I wasn't going to, but I was. I was going to watch this. I was just in my moments during the time. But either way, when I looked at the pictures, like, yeah, this is old school shoujo anime, where I always say they don't make them like they used to. They really don't. Don't be wrong. There's a lot of shoujo anime now, well, romance anime now, that don't go really under the line of shoujo, but they're still really, really good. My Love Story at at level 999, Dangers of My Heart, Horimiya, Nagatoro was pretty good. You know, Komi was pretty interesting. More of a gag than it was really romantic, but it was still good for romance for what it was. And we have those, but we don't have any new shoujos. I tell you not. When the last time have anyone seen a shoujo anime? I think some of them still air, but they're not highly talked enough like they used to back in the day. Don't be wrong. Dangers of My Heart was number one on anime trending the entire season it was airing during its second season. But it wasn't really a shoujo anime. It was just a romance anime. So it didn't have that shoujo feel to it. You really have the art style from the manga. It's nothing like a shoujo anime. And you know what a shoujo anime is. Back in the day when I was in school, we used to get Shonen Jump and Shoujo Beat, and they'll have a collection of the little recent chapters that are out over there in Japan, and you could always read them and see the ads. And when it came to the shoujo beat, you would have the pages would be very colorful. Where in Shonen Jump they were just black and white. In shoujo beat, they were colorful. Like the entire chapter would be one kind of color, like pink, orange, or green and stuff. It was different in the way they look. The characters were tall. They have beautiful eyes, lovely eyelashes. They have details in their lips, and more importantly, they would always wear something different every single time. That's the thing I always did enjoy about shoujo anime is that they didn't wear the same clothing all the time. Imagine Naruto wearing the same thing all the time. Goku wearing the same thing all the time. No matter how many times he gets torn up or beaten and battered or blood soaked, it's the same uniform. Where in shoujo, they were wearing something different all the time. It wasn't a rarity. It was a rarity when they were wearing the same thing. The only time they wear the same thing is when they were at school, because everyone had the same school uniform. But other than that, things were different. So, anyways, about me glazing about the beauty of shoujo, let's talk about this anime called Love You Baby. The original name I couldn't pronounce for the life of me. I tried pronouncing it. I sure tried, baby. I couldn't do it. So I just say Love You Baby. And this comes back to home for me, when I was watching it. And it took me so long because not only I was just watching like 2 episodes a day, but I was also reading the manga on the side, which has like 30 something chapters to it. So let's talk about the anime first. It is a boy named Kipe. He is a playboy. He is a boy toy. He is one of the handsome, most prettiest boys in his school. He's not very smart. He's dense, not so quick to catch up on the things, but all the girls love him. And they didn't mind toying around with him, doing things with him. The rule was is that no one could really date him at the end of the day. They were fine with just each girl just having their way with him, pretty much, what was going on. This boy was indeed a boy toy. So none of the girls really tried to date him. And the ones that did didn't really have a chance. So that's just how it's his typical life. No responsibilities, carefree, just being handsome and pretty. That's it. Until one day when he went home, he realized a little girl was there at his house. A girl named Yuzuyu. And Yuzuyu mom cannot take care of her. After the father died, the mom went into a serious, rapid spiral of depression, and she started doing things she was not proud of. So she had her family take care of Yuzu. However, everyone else seems to be busy, so the older sister decides to tell Kibe that he has to take care of her from now on. in order to beat that irresponsibility that's inside of Kipe. And one thing that you learn of what builds a man, people say what truly makes a good man. People say, oh, it's blood or it's intercourse and stuff. But no, those aren't things that make a good man. What makes a good man are two things: responsibility and accountability. Those are the most two things that what makes a good man. Not just a man, but also a person altogether. And the bigger the responsibility, the bigger your character will be built throughout life. And that's what with Kipe. Kipe slowly starts to warm up to use you as time goes on, but he needs to learn to manage his time more, who he's been out with, how he shows himself to be a better example towards his little girl who's going through a very terrible time in her life. So he starts reflecting on that, even to the point where he's not hanging around with other chicks anymore. He's actually interested in just one girl who is the main female, well, other female main character in the show, Kokoro. Kokoro, the silent girl who hangs out with two groups of friends who seems to be very distant and doesn't talk much and can't stand Kipe. But when he starts taking care of Yuzuyu throughout time, and she even assists in him on it, she starts to warm up on him, starts to really like him immediately. And they're both dynamic characters, truly do balance off each other. Kibe is the carefree kind of guy, optimistic, cheerful, he can talk, start a conversation. People attract him, where Kokoro is the silent, distant type of girl who is serious. You don't know what's going on inside her mind, and you kind of want to back off from her. So those two opposites attract very well in that situation. And it's very nice to see that dynamic again, but in a different kind of way. Because now in these days, it's the quiet, awkward dude who's with the upbeat, jittery girl now these days. But I guess indeed is mainly focused on growth, I guess. But you can enjoy it too as a guy. Well, anyways, I'm getting off topic here. So the entire show is about three main things, and that is Kipe learning to grow up, to have responsibility and accountability, and Yuzu learning to live life through watching adults. Because besides her going to her primary school, she also has to live her most of the time around other adults at home and also at streets. I say this is because almost every arc, and it's something I want to point out, Yuzu always, and I do mean always, has to face some sort of trauma situation. Whether she's getting lost, someone's trying to harm her slash kidnap her, she's witnessing child abuse, or one day she's just playing on the playground and her cousin comes to her and says, "Hey, Yuzu, I kind of wish I was dead." Imagine being this little girl who's just trying to find some happiness in the world, but everyone keeps coming towards you with your problems. Everyone keeps trauma dumping on this girl every single time. She's just thinking about how can she go see her mom again and live life about her mom in the meantime. While everyone else is, hey man, I'm going through this depressed state, or even jealousy. Yes, there's one girl in the show, earlier in the show, that is jealous of Yuzu because the thing is that the girls were able to play around with Kipe, but they could not really be with Kipe. So the fact that Kipe was getting most of his attention to this new little girl, there was a stalker chick who could not stand it and literally tried to hurt this little girl. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Then there's an arc with a little boy who's very cheery and nice, but he's dealing with some child abuse by his mom and everything. And then there's deeper than that. Even one with dealing with a cousin that's ran away from home who has serious depression skills and feel like she doesn't belong anywhere. This ups and tells her, I wish I was not alive right now. Imagine that. I'm like, y'all need to leave this little girl alone and let her be a kid. For crying out loud. It's ridiculous what's going on here. But Kipe and Kokoro comes to the rescue, saves her every time, and she has to face this. And there's another thing we don't also see in shows aimed at children. You see, we watch shows that are aimed at children where it's just about little kids, not middle school or high school, but elementary school kids. These days, usually it's a horror where someone's getting brutally murdered, or two is extreme cute comedy, a silly comedy. But we haven't seen anything like, back in the day, like Child's Toy. Remember I used to talk about Child's Toy, one of my favorite animes? Um, where about this girl who's a Hollywood actor and, well, not Hollywood actor, but a Japanese actor, and on TV shows and game shows, and her and other characters have to try to go through the expectations of adults, but yet the adults themselves are hypocrites and can't follow their own example. So it makes things jumbled for these children who are being raised in a harsh world of adults. This, in a way, kind of reminds me of that. We don't have anime like this anymore. Like, when was the last time where you had a main character of a boy who was a playboy, who wasn't a just shy, awkward nerd who just draws, or he gets caught by this jumbling, nice, peppy girl all the time? Or even in the girl ones where the girl is still shy and she gets caught up by this handsome dude or something like that, or this very tall dude who everyone is scared of because he's tall and has scary eyes. This is the same thing over and over again. We don't have a main character like this anymore in anime. So I believe if I tell you right now, if someone were to bring an anime out right now, where the main character is a playboy, but he gets his life together to impress the girl or to take care of a child, I bet you right now that would be the most talked about anime. Because it'll be wholesome, it'll be cute, and it'll be silly and funny. And people will eat it up. It'll be nice. But we don't got that no more. We really don't, and it's unfortunate. But anyways, Love You Baby is it brings back a good time, a time where there was only one computer in the house, and we all just sat there in the living room on the just watching what anime we could do in the colorful subtitles back in the day on One Piece of Bleach or Anime Freak way or even Pimp Anime. Those olden days. That's what reminds me of the days where we were watching Shugo Chara, Alice 19th, Ceres, Fuji Yugi for crying out loud. That's what it felt like when I was watching this anime, and I'm glad I did watch it. This is definitely a must watch for those shoujo love feelers, or those who wish to see what it was like watching old shoujo anime. Now, one last thing: the manga. Don't read it. You don't need to read the manga. The manga has such a terrible end. You'll be surprised how you can have a good series, but just because the ending was so terrible that everyone just gives it a bad review, despite all the amazing stuff you had with it. That's why that saying goes, where your life is determined on how it ends than how it begins. Because I guess when you're a beginner, anything could happen. You just have a good start or a bad start. But if you finish well, you can be remembered as something amazing at the end. Look at Anoshi no Koi for crying out loud. Remember Anoshi no Koi, man? Everyone loved that manga until the end. Game of Thrones. Everyone loves that show until the end. Or for me, for me personally, Wonder Egg Priority. Yes, Wonder Egg Priority. That one was, but sometimes it's good. Sometimes it can be good. For instance, Release a Spice had a terrible opening, in my opinion, but it had a great ending. And for what happened, it had that Men in Black movie ending, which I did enjoy for what they did with it. It was nice. It was really nice, and it ended there where it didn't need to be. There are some things I would like to do better, be different, but what they did was still very good. That's how it works. And it does happen a lot. So the manga, don't read. It will piss you off at the very end. It will piss you off. So this is one of those cases where the anime is better than the manga. And some people did say the manga probably was axed and rushed, so therefore that's why the ending felt like that. And if that's the case, well, I can't get mad at the author, just get mad at the publishing company. But altogether, I still enjoyed it for what it was. So that's where I'll leave the video here today. Watch Love You Baby. It's something that brought a nostalgia memory back to me that I yearn for. So if you have anything else that you want me to watch next, just say it and I'll let you know if I've seen it, if I watched it, or I will be watching it. And then after that, that's the thing I'll focus on. And it'll take me a while to finish it because I got other things I also have to read and watch as well. I'm reading like 4 mangas right now. Well, 3 mangas and 1 comic book. And I'm watching 2 cartoons and streaming no anime right now because I just got finished watching Love You Baby. So there's that. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and of course, hit that bell icon. This has the background on anime. Signing out.